Nithyanandam, guys! So I wanted to make this video today specifically for you guys as per request by my dear friend Boris. I love the questions he asked. He wanted me to share a little bit about my mystical experiences. So here goes nothing. I'm going to share with you guys one which popped out in my head in particular that I had recently. This was a handful of weeks ago, and I was meditating, doing the life bliss meditation next to my husband, Drita, and I was kind of getting distracted and I wasn't really in the zone with the meditation. But then all of a sudden I just, was like, okay, let me just observe my thoughts, and a different part of the meditation started where this Shiva mantra music was playing, and it really helps me get into that meditative space. And all of a sudden I felt my Kundalini energy fully awaken, and I was starting to kind of actually get physically moved from it, where I was going, my body was like this, going in little small circles, like my spine was rotating in small circles, and it was crazy, and it kept happening. And this has happened to me before, by the way, so I didn't think much of it. But then I had this immense download happen where I saw this. It was like a vision. Visually, I saw this in my inner space. As my Kundalini was moving my spine, I saw that the same geometry and energy of that rotation, which was moving me by that Kundalini force, that Kundalini energy, which is that coil, that DNA helix, is the exact same movement as the planets of the cosmos, of each solar system. And so how I can explain this is, it's like the Kundalini and chakras in our body is like a microcosm of the macrocosm of the planetary scale move, and the planets rotating around the sun. The same way we have the energy centers, they have to be aligned in order to unlock the Kundalini energy to move them. And that's why it's so important to have the spine straight and the spine in alignment. The same way the cosmos is functioning, everything is perfectly aligned, and therefore it continues to rotate and continues to move. I wish I could explain this better and more clearly, but I hope you kind of got the concept of what I witnessed, and it was such a powerful visualization. And then something even cooler happened. I all of a sudden got pulled out of my body completely. I had a full outer body experience where I was getting taken out of my body, and I got pulled up, and all of a sudden I was in space, I was in the cosmos. I didn't have any form, and I didn't even relate to myself as I. So it's hard to even tell the story in English, but my consciousness, right, without my personality attached to it or my body, was moving. My energy was moving through the cosmos, and it felt, and I knew that I was being led there by other beings. I felt other presences around me, 2 or 3 different energy beings, no form, again, just light, and they were pulling me somewhere through space. So I was following them, and I didn't feel any resistance, and I knew they were positive beings. And all of a sudden it was like we moved at light speed or something, and I ended up in the orbit of another planet. And I was looking around from my consciousness, and I didn't realize where I was. I was like, what is going on? I just knew I was stuck in this orbit. I was moving around the planet, and there was all these rocks and debris around me. And I turned, my consciousness turned my view, and I looked down to the planet that I was rotating, and I realized it was Saturn. I recognized it from pictures of Saturn that I've seen. And I realized, and I looked around me, and I noticed there was rings, and I was in the rings of Saturn. I was rotating around Saturn, and it was so real. I don't even know. It was insane. It was so realistic. And all of a sudden, as I looked down towards the planet, another entity, it was a dark entity, a negative force that kind of actually made me a little frightened, came and literally pulled me out, and I literally got ripped out from what I was seeing, and I got pulled back into general space, and I started getting fearful, what the heck was that being? And I started feeling disempowered and scared. And then it was like just instantly I realized, no, I'm the creator of this reality. I can completely drop that, and I absolutely don't have to be in fear. I'm the one who has the remote control in my hands. And all of a sudden my fear was gone. And I started to try and make my way back to Saturn, or to that space. And then I got pulled back in my body. And that was all. And I just had this complete realization that those beings who took me there to Saturn wanted to show me something that was happening on the surface of the planet, and some other beings didn't want me to see what was happening there for whatever reason, and I still don't know why. I'm definitely going to be meditating on this further, but I wanted to share that experience with you. It was so tangible, so profound, and I know it might sound crazy, but really, like, I can't even tell you, it was so real. It was so real, and I know that it really was a real experience, and so, yes, it was so beautiful, and I'm telling you, I did nothing to, like, try to experience that. I wasn't, like, intensely focusing. I'm not even a good meditator. It's simply the power of having an enlightened being give you the right techniques, and life bliss meditation is one of them. I would highly recommend doing it as much as you possibly can, if not daily. It is the most powerful meditation to date I've ever experienced. So this was just the fruit and the flowers of that meditation experience. So thank you for listening to my sharing. Thank you so much, Boris, for asking this question. I will definitely try to share more of these experiences with you guys here, and let me know what else you'd like to see here on Patreon. Nithyanandam, guys, all my love.